Hi, Rochelle here, also known as So Sable on most of the social media. Now, just a little bit about me. This is just a quick introduction post, as it were. I am a bit of an all-rounder, so I do some DIY, so things like painting and plastering and wallpaper stripping. I've replaced our waste disposer a couple of times. I'll be replacing all the glazing wedges in our conservatory, that sort of stuff. As well as that, I game on our Xbox Series X or the computer, which I did quite a bit of building work on myself. I sew, so I shall introduce you to my stable, or most of it anyway. So this is my Elna 945 overlocker, and then we have my Juki Exceed HZL for F600 sewing machine, and this is my Juki MCS 1500 cover hem. The cover hem is currently in timeout. She broke a thread the last time I used her, and I've yet to work out why, so I need to sit down and actually spend some quality time with her. As well as that, I have my mum's Benina, which I can't show you because she's in her case at the moment. She was born in 1970, so quite an old machine, but really good. So that's my sewing stuff. See that wardrobe there? About half of that is fabric. I also have a bit more inside, which is mostly quilting fabric and bag making supplies. As well as that, I weave. So this here is my loom. She is a Makoma. I think they actually pronounce that differently in the US, but that's how I pronounce her. I've named her Mari, as in the Scottish version of Marie, and she is a jack loom with 8 shafts on her. Currently not in use, but that's mostly because the project that I need to actually weave for next is still in progress, and that is this. So this chair here was actually my grand's, and it's in 2 pieces at the moment. So this is the back. I had to basically redo all the internal work on it. It had been really, really badly done, and as a result, it had a meltdown and tried to eat my son. So I've redone it basically properly. I'm not sure that the back is properly because I couldn't find much information on this sort of chair for the back, so I've had to make some of it up as I've gone along. I've still got to cover the zigzag springs on the back, and that will be using this stuff here, which is a felted upholstery mat, and then basically cover her up with some plain fabric before I measure and then warp up the loom so that I can actually make the fabric. So the fabric that I am going to be doing, I'm not sure whether I did do a sample, but I can't actually remember where the heck I put it. So the fabric is going to be using, I've got 3 different colours of this. This is a Romney Boucle yarn from Anna Grattan up in the North Island, and I've got the blue, a sort of greeny shade, and a mustard. And it doesn't sound great, but it actually looks pretty damn fantastic once you do it. And then I've got to obviously felt it down a bit, and then it should look really good, and it should be really hard wearing, which is probably even more important, and comfortable, more important again. So that's that. I also knit. So all this here, this is all knitting yarn, and half of what's in there is also knitting yarn. And there's a few bits scattered around other places in the house. All this up here, well, most of it at least, is weaving yarn, and it goes all the way around. There's a few boxes of other stuff up there. That brown box up there is a Henry VIII kit for a jersey. I can't remember the name of the knitter, but she's a very famous English colourwork knitter and does some really fantastic designs. So that's all that. Yep, so I also spin. So actually some of that wardrobe stuff is actually spinning fibre as well, which will eventually probably become knitting or weaving yarn. I've just got to get around to actually turning it into that. Downside, of course, is that there's only so much time in the day and there always seems to be a heck of a lot to do. At the moment I am working on a bag which I can't show you because it's a pattern that hasn't been released yet from Rebecca Page Patterns. I make most of my own workout clothes, though today I'm mostly wearing, actually parts of me are wearing Me Made. So the top that's under this t-shirt is Me Made, and trousers I'm wearing are also Me Made. And I also have a few things cut out ready to go, including some more workout gear. And I need to get all the stuff that's in the ready to go pile sewn so that I can tidy up this room, because I really need to tidy up this room. I've also got coming up Sock Madness, which is hosted on Ravelry.com, and that is basically a speed knitting competition where I will endeavour to beat a bunch of other people to knit a pair of socks. Normally in my size. You can knit larger if you want, but you can't knit smaller. And yeah, I actually got to the final round 2 or 3 years ago now, which I was quite impressed by. I basically didn't expect to get that far, and the only reason I did was because the second to last pattern was one that a lot of people just couldn't get their heads around, and I have a way of dealing with that. If I can't get my head around it, this is finishing patterns more than anything else, but if I can't get my head around it, I turn the brain off and I just do what it says. And that's how I did my first ever pair of socks with knitting the heel. It didn't make sense in my head, so I turned my head off, did what it said, finished it, and went, okay, this makes sense now. So that's what I did with that pair of socks, and I was the first one in my team. I think there were 4 of us left at that point to finish that particular pair of socks. I think one other did finish in the end after me, after she'd seen that yes, it could be done. Or it could have been that was one of the others. It's hard to remember that far back now. But yeah, I got to the finals on that, which was really surprising and very cool. So I will be doing a lot of knitting next month, basically to try and get somewhere in that competition again. I won't be too disappointed if I don't this time, because I've done it. So I'm not too worried about that. And the fact that I did it, and there are people there who can knock out a pair of socks in 24 hours. That is amazing to me. I can't do it that fast, but I got to that final, and that is wow. So yeah, basically that's the main things there. I have also, some of the stuff that's in here I've actually worked on myself. So like that is my circular knitting needle collection, and I made the thing that they all sit in. And this here, this is a New Zealand Post locker from Invercargill, I think it came from originally. So it was wood. They had covered it in a really thick layer of varnish, which had cracked and gone all brown and yucky. So I managed to get most of it off. There's still a few remnants there, but it looks so much better. So basically the outside of it is all solid timber. I did have to do some wood filler at the top of one of the ends because there was a lot of cracks and stuff in it. The doors are made of very thin ply, but yeah, basically I stripped that back, did 3 thin layers of varnish on it, and it now stores, it's got one section which is full of planned knitting, one which has got my newsprint roll, my various reeds for my loom, and my jersey blocker, which is designed for colourwork jerseys. Another one's got all my interfacing in it and some of my vinyl rolls for bag making. And the last one down the end has got fabric that's on rolls and some of my weaving tools. And some of the fabric that's in there, there's some wool, which is ideal for making suits and stuff like that. And there is also a partial roll of silk velvet, which I bought years ago, and with the intention of making a particular pattern, which I never got round to. And I'm going to have to do something with it at some point, but we will wait and see how things go, because at the moment I am also finding time in my day, every 2 days out of 3, or sometimes a little more often, for a workout. So for a long time I've been putting on weight, probably partly due to the HRT and the surgical menopause, and I have finally gone, yeah, I can't keep this up. I've had some health niggles for quite a while, so I went, okay, I am going to work out, I'm going to get healthy, and I'm going to ditch all the crap food. So all the chips have gone, all the biscuits have gone, and that's been the case for probably getting close to a month now. And I have been working out since the beginning of December. And I have lost some weight, I have lost some size, and I am definitely feeling better for it, which is good. So yeah, that's pretty much me at the moment. Aside from that, I enjoy singing. No one else enjoys me singing. I cannot hold a note. Actually, no, I can hold a whole bunch of notes, but they're never the one I'm aiming for, if that makes sense. So I think the old term for it was can't hold a tune in a bucket. My grandmother had a really nice singing voice. I do not. Yep, cat's caterwauling probably comes close. So when I am singing, I turn the stereo up loud, so because if I can hear myself, then it's really, really bad. So yeah, but that is pretty much it, I think. Or at least it'll do for the moment. So thank you for watching, and I will be setting up to do other videos, probably mostly on sewing and knitting and things like that. I will have to, I've got a proper Handycam digital one that I'll have to set up for that, I think, because this phone is great for some things, but it's not ideal for if you're trying to do close-ups of things like sewing machines and so on. Whereas, you know, if you're doing it with the Handycam, you know, your zoom's a little bit more controllable and so on. So, and the other thing I've got to work out is how to edit, because I have no clue on that one. So I think that'll do for today. Thank you for watching, and have a lovely day, and I will be back with more content later.